The following is a presentation of Geekster Media.
Hey there, and welcome to another edition of the Thrift Store Horde. We are back. We had a month off, but that just gave us enough time to build up our stacks. We've been all over the place finding some retro treasures to share. So where have you guys been? Where have you guys been running around to and finding your stuff?
My son and I were making the joke, okay? It's October. As we tape this, it is deep towards the end of October. My rule growing up was yard sales, garage sales, whatever you want to call them, are done in the summer. And I'm especially in a very cold climate. I've already turned on the heat. And there were like multiple yard sales this past weekend. And I thought, who, right before Halloween pretty much, is still having yard sales? And I mean, like, they had stuff, I'm not gonna complain, but I'm just like, part of yard sale is it's nice out, it's sunny out. You walk through a whole neighborhood, you hit up a bunch of different sales, you drive around, you have the windows down and all. Like, it's part of the culture of going to the yard sales. And I saw so many. Even my kids like, why would someone have a yard sale when it's cold out? I go, I don't know, buddy. I'm like, if it rains during the summer, it's like you can't control it, but you can control, oh, it's freezing out. Maybe I don't want to be sitting outside with all my stuff all day long. You guys, I'm the only one in short sleeves. I'm just maybe I turned the heat up too high. I don't know.
Chris, what about you?
Oh, we've hit flea market season. So usually a lot of flea markets shut down because of all the county fairs and everything that are going on during the summer. And we're starting in September, we start hitting flea market season. There's one or two that I try to set up at from time to time to sell. Just was at Frankenstein's Comic Swap, which is an old school style comic book convention. Like, I think there's about 100 dealers, just people set up in an old it's in one of our old malls at a abandoned, oh shoot, I can't even remember the name of the store, but like, it's one of those big chain stores that went out of business, that so they rent the space out, the mall does, and we set up and had a show there, and it was pretty fun. Had a lot of people come.
Wow, that sounds
Also
awesome.
Goodwill bins, of course. Yeah. So I'm hitting up the bins, Facebook Marketplace, everywhere else. I've been trying to uh, balance sales and shows, because I got sales coming up, but I also am running out of space, so I have to be careful about what I buy. But I have to keep buying because I got shows that I need to sell at to get other stuff that I want. So
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and I'll just say, like with Kevin, with what you were saying about the weather, I'm up in a cold climate as well, and that has started to creep in. But what I've noticed is the yard sales went away, but literal garage sales taking place inside the garage. That's what I've been going to, and like estate sales and stuff are still all the rage because they're indoors. But I have been walking away empty-handed from everything. Like, so I did, though, have a lot of success at the thrift stores. So I've just been making my normal rounds, finding some fun stuff here and there. So I don't know what you guys want to get started with. I'll go with just some books real quick, just to kind of throw stuff out because I don't have very much there. But I was pretty excited to find a Halloween themed book. This is called Space Witch, which it's from like 1959, if I remember right. Like this is an old book. Let me see if I can find that here. But yeah, 1959. So, but it's the art in here is just so beautiful and retro. And you got this witch with like ghosts in space, like on this planet, like she's traveling in a rocket ship. Like there's a lot of fun stuff going on there. So that was neat. The other thing I found though was this relic from 1993, Super Mario Adventures. Now, this is cool. At first, I was like, wait, is this like the Valiant comics or something? No, this is from Nintendo Power, the comics that were printed there. And then they said they started doing like a few more. It's got like a little bit of a history in here. But if you look at this art style, if you were buying Nintendo Power back in the day, you could definitely kind of recognize that manga-esque, cartooning there. So that was just really fun just to have that throwback. I mean, look at this Bowser right there. And then the only other book really item, I guess you would say school supply related, I guess I would say was a vintage Trapper Keeper. So I'm always on the hunt. I was so excited to find this. Plus it had the folders inside. So we got a couple of those working here. So anyway, that was just great to have. It was in nice shape. You know, it's not ripped or anything. The only thing is like the original owner wrote their name on there. But other than that, still a nice piece. We'll give that official look there, you know. So but yeah, so that's just a couple things here. I'll get back to some VHS when we come back around. But Kevin, what about you? What's your first pile?
All right, this is just like so much random. I really I do try to have a theme, and I tried to organize and stuff. It wasn't happening this time. All right, so I it'll be shocking. I'm very behind on Neil Gaiman. Everything says I should have read all of it. I've read all of original Sandman, most of Death, most of the other stuff. I've not read any of his novels, anything else. So I'm going to try to rectify that. So I happen to find Neverwhere. Figure that'll be a good start for it. As we were discussing previously, for me finding stories in anthologies, I found more. So they're all. I'm pretty, and I will apologize if anyone goes through our videos like with a magnifying glass. I apologize. I really tried to keep. I've already talked about it in a pile over here, and I have not shown it off in a pile over here. I cannot swear that cross contamination did not happen. I don't think it did, but I can't swear it. I got a Stephen King and a Harlan Ellison story, and this one I have started to read. Like I read Harlan no matter what. I have started to read Stephen King ones too, and I'm like, oh damn, who knew that guy could write? You know. That's Deathbird. I got Harlan one in here, and I actually just kind of like that cover too. Harlan for that one as well. I think I'm finding like me from an alternate timeline for stuff. Like there's a version of me that got rid of things. Yep, this one's a Harlan as well. And honestly,
you're finding them all like in the same place, pretty much. It's just like full...
No.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's yeah. There like two different spots recently. One, there's a thrift store that I was wandering around and just, you know, like most of them, it's a maze, it's a labyrinth of like all the little rooms and everything. Not thrift store, but like antique mall thing. And I see a doorway out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, it's gotta be like the employee bathroom or something, you know. And then I see a customer come out of the doorway. I'm like, what the hell? So I go in there, and it's like the width of my desk that I'm at, if that, lined with shelves of books.
Huh.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? It looks like it was like a pantry for, you know, like something that used to be there before. And I'm like, all right. So I just dug through those. And then there's another one that they have an old spinner rack, like a spinner rack of comics, but it's all paperbacks.
Okay.
So all the paperbacks are like doubled up.
By the way, that other one you have right there, I had the hardcover original edition in middle school.
This was hardcover at first?
Yeah, the first release was a full like giant hardcover book. It was awesome. I did a book report
really?
on it.
Did you ever? Okay, so you read it.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It's great. Yeah. Diane
All
Duane,
right.
I was like, she's so cool. She's writing Spider-Man stories, and it was good.
All right, because I've been very curious. Like, there's all these novelizations floating around. I've never read one. I'm pretty sure I showed off this beforehand. Did I show off the Heroes from Hell storyline?
I don't think so, but that's a cool cover.
No? Okay. All right, so it's a whole series of books, and it's pretty much like any famous person in history who's died. The idea is they're all in hell, so they're all on the board to use for different stories, like team up, you know, screw each other over, whatever. My babysitter's brother was getting rid of these in a yard sale. So I, you know, whatever age I was then, like starting to get into comics and weird stuff and all. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any money because I'm at my babysitter. Why would I have money? I really want these. And then I asked him to hold them for me, and I never saw them again. And randomly, I have found some of them through the years. So it's just, you know, there's like quick short stories in there. It kind of reminds me of what George R. R. Martin was trying to do with wild cards. So like, here's this universe anyone can play. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stories in there. It's just quick stories, play in this universe, do whatever you want with it. So some are good, some are bad, like anything else. Fantasy sci-fi magazines. This was interesting, the superhero handbook.
Huh.
And I'm just like, all right, what the heck? And it's just like a guide to discovering your superpower and how things, discovering your place in the universe and all. I have no idea if this is any good or not, but I was super curious, so I had to give it a try. What do I want to do here? That is, I got like a bunch of those anthologies, and I just don't. You've seen them.
We get it.
Yeah. Okay. X-Men guidebook.
Oh.
I was super excited to find that. And it looks like it's in good shape, and it looks like something I would have gotten in the book sale and would have been so happy with it. And then Max Allan Collins wrote A Killing in Comics. So it's just like a murder that took place. It was a Borders closeout. It's not the Borders I worked out, but I remember the stickers. So yeah, like he wrote the Dick Tracy novelization, if I recall correctly, and a lot of other ones. And it's just a death that takes place within the world of comic publishing. I'm like, that could be cool.
That's neat.
I will stop there for that.
Okay.
I'll
Chris,
warn everyone right now. It's all books.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a ton of books, but I got a couple. Well, I'm trying to go down on the amount of books I'm buying because I got a lot. So, but some of these I couldn't pass up. Kevin, with your love of pulp.
Ooh, what'd you find?
We got the Reavers of Skaith.
Ooh, is that a DAW?
It is.
Or is it just yellow?
No, it's a BB science fiction or 8B science fiction. Valentine book. Yep. And then I do have a DAW here by C.J. Chera, The Fated Sun.
Ooh, nice.
So I do grab DAWs when I see them as well, if they're in good condition. I found a ton of them at the bins the other day, and they were just all hashed. Looked like mice had gotten into them. And then this one looked awesome. I had to grab it. The 6-Gun Samurai.
Cool.
Number 3. So apparently I have a few others to hunt down. This one didn't have the tape, which I may have to check my loose tapes, but the read-along adventure of Dark Crystal, I may have the tape somewhere. And
my wife was just rewatching that movie yesterday, so
not something I normally get, but I don't see these ones often. I mean, our love of Garfield and Peanuts and all the Saturday or Sunday morning strips. Well, I found Kathy. What's another one? Oh, so we'll go to this one next. I was talking to you earlier. I've been trying to study some screenwriting, Adam. And just as I started, I found the Jurassic Park official script book in the bins. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. It's got like storyboards and lots of little stuff in the margins talking about like different parts of the scenes in the movies.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And I think you saw I had that I bought that reproduction script of Heavy Metal the other day too.
Yeah.
Because I was curious to see what an anthology would look like as a scripted out. And then the only other real book I got handfuls of books, but nothing of super note. But this one was pretty awesome. The official Underground and New Wave Comics price guide.
Wow.
Oh.
Is Zippy on the cover there? Do I see Zippy?
Possibly. Here, I'll get.
Yep,
there he is. Yep, Zippy the Pinhead. Okay.
What year? Does it say what year that is?
It does. It was summer of 1982. So, and it's pretty good. It's got a lot of just different. It's got the price guide, but it has where to go. It has a lot of like exposition at the start, talking about
Wow.
underground comics and different writers.
Well, I wonder how many of those were even like how many editions of that? Like maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, like this.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
I
seems
looked
like
it
not a
up.
popular one.
It's anywhere from a $10 to $20 book. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on the right buyer. It's pretty neat. I got it. It just looked amazing. I had to grab it.
There's stuff
But,
in Adam. There's stuff in there we've never heard of.
Exactly. Yeah.
oh, um, I'll well, no, I got one other book. One of my buddies, he was back. He lives over in the Netherlands. He came back to visit, and anytime he comes back, he always has a bunch of stuff from the Netherlands with him. And I picked up from him Julie Wood, their motorcycle.
What?
Yeah, it's just or De Motor Devil, so Motor Devil.
Yeah, Motor
But
Devil.
just cool looking comic in a language I can't read, but it's pretty amazing. I love the cover. I love the art.
Yeah.
Very 70s, early 80s ish type of stuff. But he always has some cool stuff. I have some other stuff of his that I'll show you later. But that's all for the books I have. Let's get over to you.
Okay. I'll start off with some VHS here. I was able to get an edition of Ghostbusters 2 that I did not have yet. I have several different versions on VHS, so I was glad to grab this one. Also was able to get a DuckTales tape that I didn't have yet. I didn't pay $3 for it. I think that was from a garage sale where it didn't sell. Also Kid Songs is another set that I collect all the time. Whenever I can find the Kid Songs VHS, I'll get that. Um, Always trying to fill out my CBS Fox. I was like, I couldn't believe I didn't already have Baby Boom. I feel like I would have had it, but I looked at my collection, I did not. So that came home along with a nice copy of Roxanne. My got to get my RCA Columbia's going there. So I used to have that movie just recorded off a TV version, and I always loved it. Darkman I already had, but I love to grab a copy of Darkman when I can. I just love that cover. Um, Getting ready for Christmas, a version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas that I didn't have yet to go with my Christmas VHS. The Graduate, so it's a great one, a classic. Uh, The Big Picture was another RCA Columbia. This is one I thought I had seen this one, but I think it was a slightly different film. I was remembering there's a couple of those, stories taking place in Hollywood. Scenes from a Mall. This was a one. This is like Bette Midler's run of like 7 or 8 Touchstone Pictures movies she made, and this is like one of the ones I was missing, so I was glad to grab that. Um, this one, okay. So what happened was I was in Goodwill and in the CDs, I saw the soundtrack to Driven. And then I was like, oh, but I don't really need it. I've never seen the movie. And then I went to a different store and I found this VHS of Driven, this Sylvester Stallone movie nobody remembers, right? And then I went back to the Goodwill to look at the CD. I was like, I'll have a combo. I'll have the soundtrack and the VHS. But then the CD was all scratched up inside. And I was like, man, oh well. Getting into some creepier stuff here, we got The Night Caller. This is just one of those like direct to video, probably originally a cable movie, but I think it's more like just like a serial killer, single white female type movie. But here's a Charles Bronson cut box of 10 to Midnight. Some of his canon films work, but yeah, you can see how everything's cut off here, unfortunately. Then I found some big box stuff. So I was excited to grab this Mighty Max. So this is like kind of the kickoff of that animated series, which if people have never seen this, it was so much better, like storytelling wise, like and like had like, a through line to it than any of the other stuff that was going on at the time. I had to grab the limited edition ET, with the walkie-talkies replacing the guns and all that, blinking ET. I did find this old school Walt Disney clamshell, but Boatnik? I've never heard of Boatnik, and it's not on Disney Plus. So this was one for the ages. Phil Silvers is in it. Let's see who else. Norman Fell, Stephanie Powers, yeah, Don Amici, from Cocoon. Anybody? All right. And then I also was able to get a trio of holiday Peanuts movies, which is perfect for this time of year, right? So we have a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, we have a Charlie Brown Christmas, and of course, right now, watching this one, it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. So I was glad to have those in my collection. The other, like, I don't know, it was probably like the very beginning of the year. I found another stack of those, but they were like Valentine's Day and all these other specials nobody cared about. Somebody bought them, but I was still like, whatever. So deciding here. I'll throw these DVDs in too real quick. So Chris was talking about his heavy metal script. I did find this. I was posting about it on social media, so gave that another watch after a long time. Got to check out the special features next. But I was also in a bin just digging around, and this is a still sealed copy of the Wolverine that I got for 50 cents. So I was like, that ain't bad. I didn't have that one, so I was just like, this is good. And then the other stuff I was finding in the bid was in living color. Okay, so this was obviously part of a box set. This is season 2. There were 4 discs. I couldn't find the 4th one, so I got to go back. But the problem is, I did go back the other day, and they had piled a bunch more tapes on top of it. So like VHS, DVD, like all in one. And I was like, I'm never going to get to the bottom. So at the very least, I could enjoy what they had to offer here. So anyway, that's what I got for this round. Kevin, take it away. Let's see those books.
All right. So I'm going to cheat here for a moment. Okay. All right. Quick flip through. Technically, this does not count, but because it was at an actual comic store, so it doesn't count. But I have made progress in my New Warriors and West Coast Avengers completing list. So I did make progress. If anyone's staying up to date through Thrift Store Horde.
And I will tell you, speaking of your West Coast Avengers, Kevin, you get a shout out on the mini episode of Wizards for issue 99 that's coming out. So you'll have to listen to that one. 99.5. There is a joke that Wizard makes about the West Coast Avengers. I'll just leave it at that.
Is that this Wednesday?
Yeah, that is this Wednesday. So yeah, you'll hear it soon.
And well, I am subscribed to the Patreon. Have I listened to it on there yet? No,
that I didn't release it early yet because I'm trying to sprinkle in a few extras before I drop it. So yeah.
Okay, I'm so far behind on podcasts right now. All right. I acted in high school and in college and all the plays and everything. I have lost the scripts and everything else because why would I want to save them? I randomly found this Neil Simon play collection. So Odd Couples in here. That's the obvious one. I was in The Star Spangled Girl in college. And so I was just like, I don't even I remember acting in it. I remember my character. I remember stuff, but I'm like, I'm sure there's a lot I've forgotten. So I was excited to find that again. I might read it and go, oh yeah, that was it, and get rid of it. I don't know. But I was excited to find it again. How do I want to do this? Okay. New Yorker Book of Literary Cartoons. I do like the New Yorker collections. Some of these will be over my head. Some I'll find very funny. They're hit and miss. I don't know if anyone else does New Yorker cartoons, but it's very hit or miss. This is safe. Okay. It's safe. Similar to New Yorker literary cartoons, we have Amazing Grace, which is apparently a publication of humor for church bulletins. So it's not wrong, it's not sacrilegious, it's nothing bad, but it's just like cartoons that people could have put in their church bulletins. I'm like, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, all right, never would have guessed that. Okay. I don't know. I can draw manga, I guess. I was just like, it was cheap, it looked interesting. There's lots of, things. I mean, granted, I'm still trying to find time to write. When am I gonna find time to draw? But I want to pretend. You know what? I'll do that one last. She blocked me on Twitter because I made too many bad wrestling jokes. But the First Lady of Wrestling, Missy Hyatt, apparently wrote an autobiography.
No way.
Every wrestling autobiography is very much like, oh, let me make myself, not seem terrible. But it actually looks pretty in depth. Oh, it's from ECW Press. Of course it is. So yeah, I made too many jokes one day and a bunch of wrestlers. This is like 10 years ago, if not further. I got blocked by a bunch of people. So if I enjoy it, I can't even tell her. And to finish off this round and to stay with the holiday spirit and tie in the wrestling, I found Mick Foley's Halloween Hijinks children's book. I do have all of his nonfiction ones, and he wrote 2 novels and then did a bunch of kids' books. I don't know about this one. I wonder if he'll tell me. No. So his first book was drawn by Jerry the King Lawler, who went to school for
right.
This is not Jerry King Lawler. This is a more accomplished artist because it's drawn by Jill Thompson. Scary Godmother, I know, that's the big one. I know she's done plenty more, but I'm like, this looks like just a flat out good kids book. Like, I know we got our, there's Stone Cold, like a poster. I know we got our wrestling angle, but this just looks like actually really well drawn, well done kids book.
Yeah.
Like, good on you, Mick. Back cover's fantastic too.
That's cool.
So if I could get my kid to sit down and not do YouTube, this could be fun for Halloween, but getting them away from YouTube is tough. That's just that generation. Now I feel old. Yeah, that's all I want to include for this one.
Oh,
I did have, I had a good find, but we'll wrap that up then.
On to Chris.
On to me. Well, VHS has been good for me lately. Well, debatable because VHS takes a lot of space, and I'm getting there. Couple Cheech and Chong favorites, Up in Smoke and Nice Dreams. I rarely pass them up. I finally got enough copies that I don't really want to grab them anymore. Got that nice RCA.
The best.
Finally. Got Rat Detonator.
Oh, cool.
Because I'm always grabbing any music videos I find. I usually grab them. Pretty good. In time for the season, got Evil Dead 2.
Oh, jealous. That's great.
I already have a copy. I found out as I went and looked at my shelf. That might be a good Q&A we need to do, Adam. How do we keep track of our collections? Because
exactly.
I have VHS, and I have a ton of comics and stuff like that. So people might want to be curious. The late great Jim Varney and Corey Haim in Snowboard Academy. Never heard of this before, but as soon as I saw Jim Varney's name, I had to grab it. Also starring Bridget Nielsen, 1997.
Man, that's like late afternoon Sunday cable movie. That's what that is.
Yeah, and then what we got? Oh, I love finding sealed tapes. Short Circuit 2.
Yeah.
It was like $1 at the flea market, so I definitely had to grab it. This one, Bridge Over the River Kwai. I like it. I like the box almost more than I enjoy the movie. I've seen it. It's one of those side flap boxes. You have to open it up to get the tape. So another what is it? RCA. I like those old ones. Couple exploitation films. We got the Harlem Shake, which is 2003, and The Avenging Disco Godfather.
No way.
Oh, what is this?
Directed by Robert Wagner. Pretty awesome. I saw that. I was like, I don't even know how this is still in the bins there. And then a couple decent ones. We got Sorcerer.
Oh, I have the soundtrack on vinyl right here at my desk.
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty awesome one there. I was really happy to find it. I haven't seen it yet, so now I can pop her in and watch it. And then I never find horror, like other than like I don't find the direct-to-video horror. The stuff that nobody wanted back in the day, and now everybody wants. You can find all the I Know What You Did Last Summers and everything, but never good stuff. Well, I found this Hollywood video clamshell copy of Bloody Birthday from 80, I think it's 83. Yeah, 1983. Definitely old school slasher horror. A bunch of children are born during a total eclipse and they share a birthday and then they start murdering everybody, apparently. So I was really happy to find that. Never find that perfect time and time for Halloween. These you'll appreciate. I grabbed them because I just thought they were neat. Sylvester Stallone clamshell Rambo Part 2.
Yep.
But it's just the copy. It was actually they just keep it on the I think it was one of the ones because I found others like that where it's just on the shelf. Because I found
it up front. Yeah.
I found the Return of the Jedi, and there's the foam insert there. So you had to take the case up to the front with you, and then you get your VHS. So those were neat. I definitely got a lot of hit some DVDs too, and normally I don't share them, but I found some good ones. So again, time for the season. Hellraiser, which is the 20th anniversary edition. So snagged it. I've never seen Hellraiser. It's on my list to watch.
I like the sequel best. Hellraiser 2 is a little better, I feel.
It seems like that with a lot of horror movies sometimes. Grind. So don't know anything about it, but it sounds like a comedy skateboard movie.
Who's in that one? Is there any name actor?
Eric Neese.
Adam Brody.
Okay.
And Jennifer Morrison. So isn't Jennifer Morrison wasn't she on House, I think, maybe?
I never watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't look like anything. Ricochet, mainly just for me to watch. Denzel and John Lithgow, Ice-T. I know some people don't like this one, but I enjoyed the remake of Fright Night.
It's a good one. Yeah. Does its own thing. I like it.
I like David Tennant. He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Especially when he's playing the bad guy. Then a bunch of wrestling ones. Night of Champions, 2013. Rise and Fall ECW.
Got that. Yeah.
Andre the Giant. And then Brian Pillman, Loose Cannon.
Nice.
Wow.
So some good ones there. Oh, man. This guy almost got away. Another one, time for the season. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Another one.
Always a fun watch.
But it's on my list. And then, I don't have the other one, but I ended up with 2 copies of these recently. I sold the other one that was still sealed. But do you know what's special about this DVD set?
Is this the one that has the original cut?
It does. It has the original cut on set on the bonus disc. Each bonus disc has the original cut for each movie.
Yeah, because I bought the individual releases of each of those that had had 2 discs inside. Yeah, so
yeah, I have a couple of those original or individual ones as well. You know what? I'm gonna move into some music since we normally only go a couple rounds, and I know you guys love some music. We'll jump into there, and then so I talked about how I had a windfall with the VHSs.
Mm-hmm.
Cassette tapes. My cup runneth over. So we'll go through a bunch of these really quick, but I can never pass up on like 90s grunge, Pearl Jam, Poison, Open Up and Say Ah. Faith No More, The Damn Yankees, Steve Miller Band, Greatest Hits. I love that album. Listened to it a ton when I was in high school and college. Till Tuesday.
was gonna say, are they a one-hit wonder? Should I know them?
You'd know one of their songs, and I can't remember which one off the top of my head. Know one or two of their songs. The Footloose soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Overkill, who I don't even know who these guys are, but looks like hair metal.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Gotta look them up on YouTube. Some Overkill.
Yeah. And another handful here. Oh, this one's for you, Adam. California Raisins. Sing their hit songs.
Yep.
Sure you already have that one. Or sing the hit songs. Marlboro Country.
How many packs, proof of purchases did you have to send in to get that one?
Yep. Luckily, I didn't have to send in any because Michael Jackson, Off the Wall.
Ooh.
Springsteen, Born in the USA. Billy Idol, which I'm sure I have a handful of these already, but I just can't pass up on good cassettes. Berlin, Love Life. Wham! Make It Big.
My tape of that, it fell apart. I was listening to that, then it stopped working. I was like, man.
Scandal, featuring Patti Smith with Warrior.
I just found that one recently. That's a great album, man.
Belle Biv DeVoe, NBA Jam Session. Lost Tribe of Buddha. And then I got a couple others here, but I wanted to show off just thinking of Jason, still pick up the Singles, John Cicada, which I don't care about that one that much, but this one was cool. Rugrats, A Baby is a Gift.
Whoa.
Yeah, odd one. And then off of Marketplace, I love soundtracks. And somebody had a lot of soundtracks for sale on like a Marketplace auction site. And so I got a couple good ones, and I'll start. Got Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
John Bon Jovi. Was that Young Guns too?
Yeah, Blaze of Glory, man.
And then I got, those are fine, but that's not why I bid on the auction. So we got Beetlejuice.
Whoa.
Ooh.
And we got the Lost Boys.
Man.
And speaking of Fright Night, we got the original Fright Night soundtrack.
I've been listening to that this month. I've got that too. That's great.
So, and that's not all for music. We'll finish up. I got a couple other pieces of music here to share. My album collection is probably about 1,000 records right now, so I need to slow down on album buying. I'm not, but I need. Mouser Size had this one as a
classic.
This one's missing the booklet, but I believe I may have a worse copy with a nicer booklet, so I may be upgrading there. And this is why I need a cataloging system, because yet another copy of Def Leppard Pyromania. This one's still, and it's a newer release, but so I'll probably end up just retaking it down to another show because I don't need two copies. I don't
sell it to a 15-year-old who doesn't know any better, or some college kid who wears a Def Leppard shirt just because it looks cool,
This one was super. I was really happy about this one. I know many are not into country music as much as I am, but I got this George Jones Greatest Hits, and you can't really tell, but it looks like it's an autograph. It says,
whoa!
Thank you, George Jones. And looking up, just looking online, it really matches a lot of his signatures. A lot of those country stars did sign a lot back in the old days, and it looks like most of them that I saw of his were signed like that. So I was really happy to find that. I ended up the guy said he didn't know if it was real or not, and I ended up just buying the album for a couple bucks. So yeah, there's my music for now. It's been a plethora.
Yeah, that's great, man. That Beetlejuice soundtrack, that's amazing. I'll go in with some music as well. This is one of two En Vogue CDs I saw on the same day. I was like, I gotta grab it because I remember buying the cassette, way back when at the warehouse. I love all the songs on that album. I was able to grab Men at Work, so their debut album there. 38 Special. I dig their sound. They got good stuff going on. All right, but as far as the cassettes, what I was really excited about was, Goodwill. I'm always checking the cassette section, and it's just full of nonsense, like just classical music or old country music. Or there was one band, I can't even remember the name. I don't think it was White Lion. It was something else, but it was like they had every album. It was like, 5 or 6 cassettes. It was like everything they ever released. Then I looked him up real quick. I'm like, oh, it's like a Christian metal band, It's Striper is, opening act or something. I was like, oh, I don't think that's for me. But what I did see was Batman. Okay. So there were a bunch of Batman cassettes. So this is the Batman Returns novelization. Okay, on 2 cassettes, which I'm excited to listen to. But there was also one of my favorite things ever, The Untold Tale of the Batman. I already have 2 sets of this. I have all the comics. I have the serial version. I have the version that came in. I still have one that's sealed that has the cassette and the book with it. Like, this was everything to me as a kid. Like, I listened to these so much. So I grab them whenever I can. And they did Superman, Man of Steel. There were Captain America. There was Spider-Man. There's so many of those. They did these audio dramas that you could read along with the comic. But the big one for me was the Batman 66 soundtrack album. This is awesome. I've listened to it already. And it's basically like they take clips from the show and then play the musical stings for all the different, sections. So you get clips. And the reason I wanted to grab this was years ago, I was at an estate sale. And when I walked in, I was looking at like their vinyl collection. The guy's like, oh, you should have been here like 15 minutes ago. Somebody bought the Batman 66 soundtrack vinyl we had. I was like, oh, and so I finally got it. Finally got it. Um, then as far as other random items here, uh, I was in this thrift store the other day, and normally their toy section's just old Happy Meal toys and stuff you don't care about. But then I saw this. Okay. So this is from the year 2000, the X-Men movie Blackbird by Toy Biz. It's missing some fins up here, but even like in missing pieces, like it goes for a fair amount. This is the coolest part though. So you pull this out and then you have a hook and you can grab things with it. Like, this is just a real amazing thing. So, and I got to clean the battery compartment because it looks like it has a trigger at the bottom here, and you hold it and then it supposedly makes noises and lights up. It's got these missiles inside and stuff. So that was just a really cool find because I've never come across anything like this uh in my searches in the past. But the other one I was super excited about, just to close out here for the season, was a little Halloween buddy to add. So this is like a bootleg Boglin, and I looked, on the bottom, and it's from 1994. So I mean, this is a vintage item. I I would love to see it in the box. I want to know how it was presented to the world. But the fact that it still works, and if you put it, it actually like moves along the table. I did a little video on my X account where he actually falls off because he just keeps going. But anyway, he's my new favorite thing for the next week as we close out on Halloween. So that's it. That's what I got. But Kevin, what do you got to close us out with?
All right. So I guess, like from our discussion earlier, I guess it was a flea market, but I don't know. It was like a weekend thing of set up tables. One of the, where was it? One of the colleges had it in their like not convention. I guess their convention room. Their space for things, you know. And so it was for the weekend. My kid and I are going, and he's like, "Oh, what is?" I go, "We'll just do a lap, okay? We'll just do a lap. You know, we'll see if there's anything weird. Why do you want stuff weird?" I'm like, "For YouTube. What are you doing weird on YouTube?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I'm telling him all about the lore of thrift store Horde, and telling him all about it. He goes, "So we're looking for stuff for you and your nerdy friends to show off?" I go, "Yes, we are." Okay. I was like, and he's just, "Well, there's a Batman thing." I'm like, "No, like it has to be something unique." I'm like, "I can't just grab, you know, thing that we've seen hundreds of times. I can't do that." So we find this booth, and the guy's got comics. I'm like, "All right, well, what comics do you have?" And I'm going through. I'm like, "It's like, you know, there's nothing doing it for me." Then we get further along, and there's boxes that is buy sticker. If it's this color sticker, it's $1. If it's this color sticker, it's $2. You know, whatever. And all. I'm like, "Oh, all right." He goes, "What are you looking for?" I'm like, "Something weird, something unique." He goes, "Oh, this." I go, "All right, cool." And I'm digging through, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got unique stuff here, man." He goes, "Well, you know, do you want this?" And he pulled out a Vampirella, like a rare one. He's like, "It's only $50." I'm like, "I'm not planning on spending $50 on Vampirella." This thing, like, sorry, man. I'm looking for like this dollar stuff and all. And my kid's like, "How long are we gonna be here?" I go, "Here's how much money I plan on spending. When I have a pile that equals that amount, we will be done. So it just depends on how quick I find, you know, $1, $2, whatever." It goes, "All right." Then the guy goes, "If you're getting a lot, I'll cut you a deal." And my kid's like, "Oh god." Now we're gonna be here even longer. So I stuck to it. I'm like, "All right, when I hit this amount, we're done." Okay. So, inspired by the Wizards one, I found a Grimm Fairy Tales graphic novel. I don't know what stories are in there. I grabbed that. Partly for Adam, partly for me. Dawn on the cover of Wizard.
Excellent.
That. I don't think this has anything to do with the cult movie, but the Beastmaster. There's no way. I haven't read it yet, but I'm just like, there's no way this is the same story or whatever. But it'd be kind of cool if it was.
Is that Andre?
Andre Norton one.
Yep. I don't think it is. I think I looked at that too, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Super weird comics that I'd never seen before. I'll switch that up. Cement shoes.
Okay.
The dumbest looking thing. And then the exploits of the Junior Carrot Patrol, which is apparently a Flaming Carrot spinoff.
Wow.
I was just like, all right. I don't know what the heck. Manga Jin. I'm not trying to be, you know, like, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't know how to pronounce it. Japanese comics and more. So I'm like, all right, but it's got a Coke ad on the back.
Wow.
So clearly it was, you know, like trying to be marketed in the right place, you know, with some sort of advertising budget. Not Dick Tracy, I guess. Not totally sure here. Another Coke ad on the back. These say Japanese comics and more, but then this other one I have says Japanese pop culture and language learning. So I'm like, all right, maybe it was, you know, supposed to get like be educational. And
they were trying a new angle is what was happening. It's like, it's not selling, it's just comics.
Yeah. And this one has a story for Galaxy Express 39, which was when Sci-Fi Channel used to do what they call it, Saturday Japanime, when it was still called Japanime, to which we know now was not correct. Galaxy Express 39 was a really cool movie on there. So I'll see what that is. I don't want to do this. This looks like Marvel trying to do pulp comics for adults, and it's oversized in black and white, so probably it's called Strip. But we got martial law, Thorgal, whatever, which I remember hearing about. And I see this one, I'm like, I don't know, it's Marvel, it's oversized. Like, I know they did Conan, but I'm not quite sure, is it Marvel? Is it Marvel? So then this other issue of Strip has clearly an adult version of Punisher on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I gotta see what the heck this is. You know, super curious about it. Who did this one? I don't know who did it. I don't know if it's a Marvel or not, but everyone tried to parody Mad, and this is sick. Which that totally looks like an Alfred E. Newman ripoff.
Yeah.
And the art is Joe Simon. I'm just like, what the hell is that?
For those who don't know, who co-created Captain America, right, with
Yeah.
Jack Kirby. Yeah, that's
Yeah, there's got this Alfred E. Newman Evil Knievel thing, but nah. Yeah, I'll go this way. No, I didn't spend $50 on a Vampirella, but I'll damn sure spend $1 on a Vampirella.
wait. So with a live model though, what's this one about?
Yeah.
Huh.
Vampy goes to Hollywood. I was like, all right, we'll figure it out along the way. More Marvel adult bizarre adventures with Black Widow.
Oh, cool.
And I was Black Widow, Lady Demon, Daughters of the Dragon, which Daughters of the Dragon through like Iron Fist and all ended up coming back. And I'm like, oh yeah, they did Master of Kung Fu was an oversize. So I'm wondering if this is, you know, from the same era or whatever. I can't tell who makes this yet. I'll find out. In theory, all these are going to be articles. I think I know who made this, but I'm not totally sure. So we have Basically Strange, which is, you know, the same sort of like oversized black and white, you know, men's comic adventure thing. So I wasn't totally sure who did it until I saw the back, and I'm like, there's no way. Those are all the Archie ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, did Archie make this? So very curious. And then these I were like not quite zine, but like specifically for an artist. I've been trying to collect Marvel Age. One of the reasons for Marvel Age is there's usually a quick little 2-page Fred Hembeck thing in it. Fred Hembeck had his own magazine with his art in there. So I have the Hembeck file. Absolutely love it. Got nice little X-Men art on the back. And Dial H for Hembeck, a fancy co-publication. The one with the Teen Titans on the back. And we got a Jam 1, or on the front, we got a Jam 1 on the back. If you don't know Fred Hembeck, all you got to do is look for the knee squiggles. That is the sure side of his art. So, yeah, everyone like follow me on social media and see where I am, because I need to be on there a lot less so I can get through all of this stuff. Or some sort of articles or whatever. I gotta stop doing this with my free time all day long.
But that's awesome.
Yeah. So sorry to Declan, sorry my kid, that you had to be bored while I was going through that. But he got we went to Five Guys after, so it worked out.
All right, Chris, close us out here.
All right, let's talk about my buddy Toby from Netherlands. I've been wanting something that has the European turtles, because they're not ninjas in Europe, they're heroes.
Yes.
Wait, really?
And so
they have to be Teenage Mutant Ninja or Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because anything with ninjas and nunchucks and all that is like outlawed, or was in Europe, like in the 80s.
How am I just now learning this?
Yeah. So this is a lotto game or some kind of bingo game. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't really care about what it was. I just wanted something with the hero title on it. Simpsons are always good. I mainly try to stick to vintage Simpsons stuff if I find it. And I did. I found this Simpsons, the game Mystery of Life.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it's like a couple bucks. Cardinal Games, who did a lot of licensed games back in the day. I have no idea if it's good or not, but it's pretty good. Board on the back.
That's neat. I've never even seen that. Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Life, right? Like the classic board game Life.
No,
it's just
it's its own game. It's the Mystery of Life. And then, you know, sometimes when you're playing a game, your shoe's gonna come untied. Luckily, I got Bart Simpson to ensure that doesn't happen. So I got some bow biters. These came from my friend Phyllis. Keeping on the games, And Phyllis. Oh, I forgot to pull it out. It's used, but it's mine. Dukes of Hazzard card game, because I love licensed card games from the 80s. Definitely one worth finding for me. Move on to some video games. Wife is clearing out her stuff right now, and she had a big decent Barbie collection. She's trying to like thin down. We're trying to get rid of stuff that's superfluous. But I pulled this out of her box, and it's a Barbie handheld video game, much like the Tiger stuff. The Barbie for Girls Shopping Adventure. Wandering around the flea, I picked up a copy of Super Paper Mario. It was about half a market price. So I feel like I buy more video games than I actually play anymore. Speaking of which, I found a copy of Resident Evil, so it's the black label, worth a little bit more than the regular one, but the discs are really nice. The jewel case is a little beat up, and you could have won a part in the movie or other great prizes. Bin diving, I've grabbed a few toys. You guys know what that's from? 80s
Fisher Price?
80s toy line. Think suction cups.
Oh. Wow.
Oh.
Which is back, right? I just saw them at Walmart the other night, the new ones. Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the Nassau whatever universe, isn't it? With Sectars, and there's a new comic series out too.
Okay. A couple other bin treasures I found. Got a blaster, modern one, but pretty good condition. Not missing, just missing his weapons, but all his regular parts are there. Doom.
Oh, we know that guy.
Oh.